It's been over a year since we've met Chloe's Eevee, but the mystery still hasn't been solved. Why won't you evolve? Maybe it's because we have Generation 9 just around the corner. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. So when the episode first aired, there was all kinds of speculation about what was going to happen with this Eevee, and even some of it didn't require an evolution because we have Gigantamax Eevee, which hasn't been shown in the anime yet. And they've been on some crazy adventures. The Eevee has gotten a lot of attention, so I would imagine that if it was going to Gigantamax, we would have seen that by now. Now, it also could be a reference to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. That just seems way too many years removed at this time. Now, I feel like nothing has happened with this Eevee for so long that it's all come full circle. That the anime is wrapping up and we have a new generation confirmed. There's no way that they leave the mystery of this Eevee unsolved. The Pokemon anime usually likes wrapping up all of these loose threads, and we have seen it in the past, to where the anime has predicted a new Pokemon with Dusk Lycanroc. Now that was like really heavy with merch reveals and stuff, and also just kind of like the anime being really strong about Rockruff. We haven't seen a large focus on Eevee recently because we're talking about like Ash in the championship right now. So I don't know where that story thread is going to go, but if that starts building up, then it gets a little crazier. Or they could just drop it, or they could just do other announcements, because I was going through the history of these things, and it is pretty wild when you consider it. Like, think about Pokemon Let's Go. That game was announced in May as the first main series game on the Nintendo Switch, and they already said, hey, you're going to meet a special Pokemon. We had a new Pokemon confirmed from the start, and even looking at this, I didn't realize how much Meltan would be tied into Pokemon Go. That's like, yes, this is Pokemon Go into whatever's going to be happening with the new Nintendo Switch Pokemon game. Like, in this context, it makes a lot more sense. Like, I didn't realize how direct this teaser was until we look at it years later. Same thing for Magearna. Magearna was the first Generation 7 Pokemon revealed before Generation 7 existed. That, if we look, February 16th, well, Pokemon Day is after that. And that was the announcement of it all comes together for a brand new Pokemon adventure with Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. So, new Pokemon just kind of happened, and we also have the example of a new Eeveelution. So, if we're kind of comparing things, let's see what it looks like for Pokemon X and Y. A month after the announcement of Pokemon X and Y, so we can go and bring up that Nintendo Direct, January 8th. So, a little after that, we actually get just a random Eeveelution drop, and then that brings in the new typing and all kinds of other crazy stuff. Now, I personally don't believe that a modern Eeveelution demands a new typing. I'm just trying to think about time frames, because we could get this weird thing to where, like, April, some of the earliest main series Pokemon game news we've seen could bring us a new Eeveelution, or it could happen really at any time, except, again, the anime is kind of weird. However, there could just be, like, a filler episode or a mini filler arc about Chloe's Eevee in between, like, Ash going for the champion title, and then, like, boom, new Eeveelution ties in, crazy stuff's happening, and now we get to see what that means for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And that's also maybe where we can get some hints as for where the Eeveelution is going. That for Pokemon Sword and Shield, if we got it, a Steel-type, Night-looking Eevee makes a lot of sense. What does a Spain Eevee typing represent? Got to put some more thought into that. Probably going to be a future video, but just some food for thought right now. There's also some consideration for the Eevee's personality. I feel like a normal type Eeveelution is always on the table, and it would kind of be like the safest way of doing it, because like, oh man, no ghost Eeveelution, lame, why'd they give us a bug Eeveelution for no reason, or oh, that's a stupid looking dragon Eeveelution. Like, there's a lot of ways you can go wrong with that. Just kind of like making Eevee just evolve and be better could make sense. Could also go with the Eevee's personality of like, oh man, I want to be fabulous like a Sylveon, I want to be all aquatic and swift in the water like a Vaporeon. So we've seen this Eevee kind of like consider the path, but still be undecided on what it wants to be. And again, Eevee has unstable genetics that cause extreme adaptation. And that's also why I thought maybe we get a flying Eeveelution for the Power of Us movie, because one of the main characters had an Eevee, the Eevee hurt its leg, so the adaptation would be that it needs to become a flying type to save the trainer or person in trouble or something. That didn't end up happening, but that doesn't mean that we're never seeing an Eeveelution for the rest of the history of Pokemon, so things to consider. Also, I was kind of like going over where the anime is and how things are wrapped up, and it looks like things are wrapping up pretty early compared to like Pokemon Sun and Moon. Ash became champion after Pokemon Sword and Shield came out. I forgot that. I didn't super hard keep up with the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, so the timelines were kind of weird. There was also just all kinds of like weird storylines and plots going on. So it's like, okay, so Pokemon Sun and Moon ended after Pokemon Sword and Shield. What about Pokemon X and Y? Pokemon X and Y ended after Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that's because we had all kinds of weird stuff. So we had the championship conclude before Generation 7, but then the anime just kind of went on for a little bit extra because we needed all of this other stuff. And that brings us to some more craziness. Remember when we were like, oh, Magearna, Gen 6, Gen 7, where does Magearna lie? Well, there was also the Pokemon movie that teased the Zygarde forms by showing us the Zygarde cell, just kind of like hopping around on the logo, and that blew up the internet for a couple of days because like, hey, you're not allowed to take video or pictures from inside a Japanese movie theater because that's a major crime. So we were just getting descriptions, because no one could like actually get evidence of this thing existing for a couple of days. And then we saw it and we're like, wait, what the hell is that? And then it turns out to be a Zygarde thing. So it's in the Generation 6 anime, but only really matters for Generation 7. And it is worth considering that the Pokemon Journeys anime is very different. They're not like sticking to any kind of like hard line story for a region. They're just kind of doing their own thing. We've had the effectively Pokemon Legends Arceus, or like the Arceus arc. We also had a Pokemon Sword and Shield arc already, and that was a long time ago. The interesting thing being that the Pokemon Sword and Shield arc concluded before we were introduced to the Eevee. So as for timeline shenanigans, I don't know, but with what we're looking at now, with Ash making a run on the championship, and it's only March, and we have, you know, 7-8 months until the game comes out, and we've already seen like anime tie-ins for new Pokemon. Also just new Pokemon being shown in the anime long before the generation comes out. Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4. Technically we also have it with the Zygarde cell and some of the other things going on. So like that makes sense. That lines up. That's a definite possibility. So getting an Eevee splash in May, June, maybe even July. Maybe it's not going to be the first Pokemon revealed. Maybe it's going to be a little different than Sylveon, but then the anime starts like hyping up the game and everything, and then like that Pokemon comes in. Definitely seems like a possibility. We have a lot of room to play with. And something else that has me hopeful is that Pokemon Legends Arceus was overloaded with such a disgusting level of fan service that it actually harmed the game. But that means we are in fan service mode potentially for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and there is no bigger fan service than giving us the Eeveelution that everyone has wanted for years. So just kind of like looking at like the Pokemon stuff they did. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make, you know, cool starter Pokemon, and then we're also gonna give the Hisuian Zoroark. Like, and you know, instead of like the Alolan Growlithe that never was, we got the Hisuian Growlithe and the Arcanine. I feel like the game was so overloaded with cheeky little references and nonsensical stuff to where it's like, yeah, Eeveelution, like if they can do this, if they can bastardize Pokemon so hard with Pokemon Legends, then why not just add in a new Eeveelution, especially because like the anime is kind of building it up. And also it kind of goes into this Eevee because it's a really good plot point. If a new Eeveelution doesn't make the cut for upcoming Pokemon games, whether it's going to be like DLC, something weird that could have happened for the 2021 game, or just straight up Generation 9, the anime could just be like, it's Gigantamax, and Eevee saves the day because cool stuff happens, and Eevee accepts exactly who it is and that it doesn't need to evolve because it has this awesome Gigantamax power, or, hey, we're actually like developing it, something, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has made a lot of progress, we've finalized a new Eeveelution, seed it into the anime, build up that hype, get that cool stuff going, and it could just work like that, or maybe Eevee just doesn't go anywhere. Saw with Power of Us, we saw it with Lana's Eevee. It's just fun to have an Eevee around. It's the mascot now because of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, so maybe we're just going to see an Eevee, much like how we see all the starter Pokemon and Pikachu with Ash and friends, or it finally happens, and then everyone gets what they wanted. Who even knows at this point? But yeah, I think it's definitely worth digging this up because really interesting kind of see the context of teased Pokemon into new games, the timelines they happen, the history of how it all goes, how it all comes together and stuff, and the possibility that, yeah, it's looking very likely that we do get a new Eeveelution at some point. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much.